There is something deeply strange about people who appear impossible to disturb. Everyone assumes they possess an iron will, or a defect that muted their emotions entirely. They are wrong. The difference is in a hidden mechanism they notice that almost nobody else ever sees. Disturbance isn't rare. What's rare is what happens in the half-second after you get provoked. By the time awareness shows up, the reaction has already slammed the door. Have you ever lost an argument, only to think of the perfect reply 3 hours later? Your mind didn't fail you in the moment. It was just running two different scripts. One reacted instantly, the other watched it happen. Most people live inside the first script, mistaking the noise for the self. This is the trick behind Ayanokoji. His stillness isn't a lack of emotion. It's a hyper-awareness of that half-second gap. He treats an internal impulse as data to be observed, not an order to be followed. He watches the reaction like weather through a window. The weather is real. You are not required to stand in it. The real mystery is why you haven't been allowed to live in that gap. The mind learns to disappear, one compromise at a time. Every time you let an intrusive thought drive your actions, you hand it a little more territory. Every prison begins with a lease nobody remembers signing. If you aren't the one interrogating the guest, then who exactly is running the house? Every unexamined belief starts as a temporary guest. If it stays long enough, it starts collecting rent. Control isn't the absence of thought. It's knowing which thoughts are guests and which ones you've made landlords. Take light Yagami. His descent was caused by a landlord thought he refused to evict. The world is rotten, and only I can clean it. He rationalized the impulse, handing the keys of his mind over to an obsessive narrative until the brilliant strategist became a tenant paying rent to his own arrogance. Consciousness treats repetition as truth. Think something enough times, and it starts feeling like a fact about who you are. Your identity isn't a permanent structure. It's just a playlist you've forgotten you're looping. Lelouch understood this. He fought by exposing how easily the mind accepts an external script as its own voice. The Gios is the ultimate escalation of this. A literal demonstration of a thought bypassing the interrogation room entirely. The victim obeys, fully believing the impulse was their own free will. Think about Thorfinn. Years of violence were downstream of a single, unexamined belief lodged in childhood. He became dangerous the day he finally looked at the landlord instead of blindly paying the rent. Johan Liebert breaks people through a psychological audit. He locates the one unexamined landlord belief they've built their identity on, and names it back to them. They snap because he points at the load-bearing wall, and they realize their entire life was leaning on a thought nobody ever checked. Whatever someone else could dismantle in you, you could have found first. Musashi Miyamoto did the internal audit daily, evicting dangerous assumptions before the world could use them to trap him. Every fortress eventually becomes a prison. The walls you build to keep pain out later keep you from leaving. We spent this entire time talking about how to evict the bad thoughts, but hypervigilance disguised as indifference is still a prison. If you are constantly standing guard at the door, terrified of what might slip past, you aren't free. You've just become the prison guard. You are still treating thoughts like they own the place. The person who is truly impossible to disturb realizes something liberating. The house itself doesn't exist. There is no permanent structure inside you that needs protecting. There is only a vast space where thoughts pass through like weather. You aren't the building. You are the space the building was built in. Maybe the most dangerous thought you've ever had wasn't the angry one or the panicked one. It was the first thought that introduced itself as the owner of the house, and nobody ever asked it for identification.